It's a real honor to once again participate in the International Law Dialogs here at Chautauqua. And after last night's showing of The Wanted, it seems like what I really need is some theme music, you know? Bad boy, what you gonna do when the cops get you? Because that's what we're talking about today is the year in review in international criminal law. And oh, what a year it has been. This usually isn't the most exciting speech that anybody gives because you're basically reviewing a lot of things and not talking about the nitty-gritty of some controversial issue, but I'll try to spice it up where I can. 16 years ago, the modern era of international criminal law began with the creation of the Yugoslavian Tribunal. It was the modern version of Nuremberg. And I was fortunate to be at the forefront of that effort because as Attorney Advisor for United Nations Affairs at the U.S. State Department, I was asked to be part of the team that drafted the statute and later the rules of procedure for that tribunal. The creation of the Yugoslavian Tribunal, we all know, was followed a year later by the creation of the Rwanda Tribunal, and subsequently by the creation of the Special Court for Sierra Leone, the International Criminal Court, the Cambodian Tribunal, and most recently the new Special Tribunal for Lebanon. We are now in an era of international accountability, which has replaced the age of impunity. Let me begin by taking stock of what these tribunals have accomplished through 2009. Some of this is a summary of what the prosecutors have already told you, but I think by presenting it all in one quick, easy, digestible form, you will see how extraordinarily far these international tribunals have come in 15 years. The Yugoslavia Tribunal has tried 120 defendants in 86 trials, with 11 acquittals, 109 convictions, 27 people are already done serving their time, 6 cases involving 14 defendants are on appeal, 7 cases involving 21 defendants are currently at trial, 3 cases involving 4 defendants are on pre-trial, and of all the people who were most wanted in the former Yugoslavia, there are only 2 that remain at large, and one of them, of course, unfortunately, is Ratko Mladic, probably the most heinous figure in that entire incident. The Rwanda Tribunal has tried 37 defendants, with 6 acquittals, 31 convictions, 5 people done serving their time. 7 defendants are on appeal, 23 are at trial, and 5 are at pre-trial. The Special Court for Sierra Leone has completed 2 of its cases. 1 is on appeal, the third one, and 1, the Charles Taylor trial, which is the biggest of their trials, is currently in proceedings, and you can go over to The Hague and watch Charles Taylor every day. You get to be about as far away as you are from me in the front row, and you get to see him taking notes on his little yellow sticky pad while they build up an amazing case against him. The Cambodia Tribunal is finally off and running. 1 trial is about halfway through, the trial of Doit, the really heinous commander of S-21 concentration camp. And 1 trial involving 5 defendants is starting in just a few months. And those 5 defendants are all the chief lieutenants of Pol Pot. Unfortunately, Pol Pot is no longer around, just like Adolf Hitler wasn't, but they have the Goering, they have the Goebbels, and the version of that for Cambodia. The International Criminal Court, which we heard about, has exercised jurisdiction over 4 situations: the Congo, Central African Republic, Uganda, and Darfur. With respect to the Congo, it has begun the trial of Lubanga. As you know, the first trial of somebody being prosecuted solely for the crime of recruiting child soldiers. The trials of Katanga and Chui are set to commence next month. The Central African Republic case of Gambo is in pre-trial proceedings. The 4 Uganda accused, unfortunately, remain at large, including Joseph Kony, the leader of the Lord's Resistance Army, who continues to terrorize the population in southern Sudan, Congo, and northern Uganda. With respect to Darfur, you heard yesterday that Darfur rebel leader Al Garda has turned himself in back in May, and he will appear at a confirmation hearing in October, while, unfortunately, Sudanese President al-Bashir and his henchman Harun remain at large and in control of their country and continuing to commit crimes. The UN Special Tribunal for Lebanon has officially opened its doors. It is staffed up. I've been there to see it, and it is in an old FBI-like building in the north part of The Hague. And what's interesting is we're doing work for them. The first issue they asked us to address on an expedited basis is the question of in absentia trials. It's the only tribunal that has jurisdiction to prosecute people who aren't present. And that may become very important for it because it seems like the evidence is mounting about who was responsible for the murder of ex-Prime Minister Harari and others, but those people may be out of the reach of justice for a long time, and that's not going to stop the proceedings from occurring and that historic record from being created.